Hey rockers, welcome back to the channel. I thought of a kind of a cool short story tonight, so this is going to be a pretty short one, but hang in there with me, man. Especially for those fans of classic rock, this might appeal to you. But before I get started with my tale tonight, I gotta shout out my buddy Dave, who also publishes Ear of Corn fanzine. He sent me this great record, man. Check it out. It's a Skinhead Oi take on Devo. And it's a band called the Tough Skins, and the album is called Are We Not Skins? We Are Devoy. It's pretty clever, pretty cool stuff. If you're a fan of the Skinhead and Oi music genres, you might dig this. And if you're a fan of Devo, you might find it interesting. I played it earlier and I thought it was a gag. Like, I liked it, I laughed, and I rocked out. Thanks a lot, Dave, for sending me this killer record. Devoy, you gotta love it, man. Oi, oi, oi. Thanks, Dave. Anyway, we're gonna go back to the year 2001 to talk about Gary Richrath from Reo Speedwagon, a band that was very popular in central Illinois. I come from Peoria, and Gary Richrath was from East Peoria, so he was a legend. And back in the days when I was 10, 11, 12, those guys were like my hard rock band up there with, Foghat and other bands before I really got latched on to punk rock and, the first wave of British heavy metal just around the corner. But Reo Speedwagon was coming to town, and I went to see him at the Bradley Memorial Fieldhouse in Peoria, Illinois. Bradley University is kind of an upscale, prestigious private college, and they used to have a lot of good concerts. And when Reo Speedwagon came in 1978, I was there, and I did some research. They said online that the Babies opened up this show, but I want to correct whoever made that video and say, you're wrong. The band that opened up for Reo in 78 in Peoria was 38 Special, because I was there, and I remember very well. So, got to see the show. It was great. Flash forward to the year 2001. I'm hosting the Church of Rock radio show, but I'm also doing full-time radio on a big station called Real Rock Radio, Rock 106, and that was in Peoria, Illinois. My friend Ron McFall, a good friend who I haven't spoke to for a while. Ronnie, if you're out there, love you, man. Ron McFall was a great friend to the Richrath family. He was friends with Gary Richrath, Gary's brother, Gary's son, and Gary's mom. And Ron kind of acted like a surrogate mother to Gary's mom, always checking on her, helping her out with stuff, and just being a good friend in general. Well, Gary Richrath came back to Peoria from California in order to do a small, sort of unannounced gig at a small club called J.J. Ryan's, which was located at the Metro Center in Peoria, Illinois, off of University Street. This bar was owned by Gary Richrath's ex-wife, and she invited him to come to town and sit in with this band and jam, and he obliged her by coming to town to visit family and to sit in, right? So Ron McFall says, hey man, Gary's going to be down at J.J. Ryan's. I don't know if you can get in or not, but you could come down and check out the sounds outside the door. So I did. I went down there and actually played it live on the radio. Somebody was on the air and I played them live, and we broadcast it over the air for just a few seconds. But man, the guitar sounds Gary was emulating or putting out that night was just amazing. So the next night, Ronnie says, do you want to interview Gary? I'm like, God, I'd love to. So next thing you know, I get the phone number, and me and Gary Richrath are on the phone, and we're setting up this phone chat for my radio show. Which, by the way, if you want to hear that interview, even though it's edited, because corporate radio kind of makes you edit your interviews down to like short interviews. It's all about time, and money. But that 8 to 10 minute video can be heard on my other channel, which is called The Church of Rock, all one word, which is kind of a legendary saying by now on this channel. So, the interview gets set up. Me and Gary Richrath are talking on the phone. Everything's going great. We're having some laughs, finding out the truth, why he left Reo Speedwagon. Basically, it was because Kevin Cronin, the singer, wanted to take the band in more of a ballady direction. Gary, he wanted the band to be more hard rockin' like the old days. So they had a big dispute, and I'm sure other stuff was in the picture that I don't know about. But that's what Gary told me, and that's what we're going to stick to in this story. So the night comes for the interview. I'm on the phone with Gary. We're talking. Everything's going great. And then all of a sudden he tells me, you know, I'm putting together another solo band and I'm not done rocking, man. I'm going to keep rocking, believe me. I just got to find a singer. And I said, well, Gary, you know I'm a singer, right? And he goes, what? No, I didn't know that. Are you? I said, yeah. And he goes, you want to come audition? And I started laughing on the phone thinking, heck yeah, man, I'd give it a shot. So we talked about that, and he let me know during the interview, well, man, you're the only person I have considered for the job of vocals for my band, so we'll make it happen. And I'm like, I think he's serious. So before and after that interview, we got to talk on the phone, right? After the chat, I said, Gary, I got to level with you, man. I am a lead vocalist, but I mostly do punk rock, and I've done a little country and blues, but I don't think I could sing anything like Kevin Cronin or anything in that league, because between the years 95 and like 97, 98-ish, I was in a cover band called the Renegades and the Veins, and we played out making music, 4 sets of music a night, playing in clubs, right? So I really did learn how to sing more than just punk rock. I could do some country, some blues. I could do some, 3-part harmonies with the guys. But I told Gary on the phone, man, you know, I could try this. But off the air, I told him, I'm afraid you're going to end up hearing some guy going, blah, 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 you know, and he's going to go, holy crap, why did I waste an airline ticket on this nut? So even though it appealed to my ego, and even though it would have been a nice pipe dream, there's no way in God's green earth I would have tried out for that band and wasted that guy's time. Because face it, man, if you've heard any of those records with Kevin Cronin, he's got one hell of a range. And despite me saying how I learned to sing, it wasn't the singing that he was used to or the big leagues. So I was afraid to even attempt trying to audition for Gary's band. It was very flattering, however, and man, it would have been cool, right? But to even attempt that would have been egg on my face almost immediately. Can you imagine them doing like an Reo Speedwagon song just to see what my chops were like? I don't even want to think, la 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 la, what it would have sounded like, man. So I had to pass up the opportunity, but I wanted to tell you guys about that opportunity. And to me, it's a funny little story to have somebody that was in the big leagues, probably still getting killer royalty checks from all those Reo Speedwagon sales, because I don't think they ever put out a record that didn't go gold or platinum or double platinum. So yeah, what an honor. But you know, I never did make that flight out to California to try out for Gary's band, because I thought, yeah, you're just dreaming. Don't let your ego get ahead of your talent, bro. So I kept it in line, I kept it in check, and I did not do the audition. Anyway, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Even maybe give it a thumbs up if you like my rainbow shirt. I don't know. Leave a comment if you wish. Please keep it lovable, man. I know some of you out there are saying, I hate Reo Speedwagon and those kind of bands. And then there's others out there, maybe my age and older, thinking, hell yeah, man, Reo Speedwagon rocked back in the day. Because before they got to all those ballads in the 80s, they were a hard rock band, and they were kick-ass live, on record. Any way you took them, Reo Speedwagon was kick-ass. I had all the vinyl until they burned in 2020 in the Alameda fires, but that's another story. My friends, I'll be back soon with more punk, rock, metal, outlaw country, curveball, and plain old weirdo tales. You never know what's going to come out of this brain, but it's all true, my friends, I can assure you that. As true as my memory will allow it to be. Thanks for checking out my video. Thanks for all the cool people subscribing to the channel. I bid you guys a great week, from my family to yours. All the best. Keep rocking, and long live the memory of Gary Richrath. Rest in peace, Gary. Not forgotten, brother. Keep riding the storm out.